So, I'd like to thank you all the great sponsors we had this year to make this possible. They're all around here in the side of the booth, so take a chance to go visit their great products and services. Also, I'd like to thank Hassel and everybody else from Tony and Richard, to thank them for all the beer that we drank last night, and also so the whole CollabSphere is all volunteers, and everybody joined together to do things and make this possible. So this is a little updated version of our this volunteers. So we thank them for all their contributions. And thanks for my hand. If you guys are interested and don't know about the iPhone app, there's or Android app, you can actually pay for it. It's actually on the Facebook website. It has an updated agenda. There's been changes to the agenda. I think 105 has been canceled, and the replacement is the IBM App Connect solution that's been booked breakout room, and that's I think at 4 o'clock. So it's changed. So go to the website or go to the app for the updated information. So this every year we try to be part of the community, try to help raise funds for a organization that we review and also get involved in the community. And this year we started with the Girls Tech. Tomorrow we're going to actually have a panelist that been organized by Jenna and be able to talk about the different issues that individuals actually have in the knowledge area. So what we're giving away each year is a free weekend at hotel. They're grateful enough to donate the weekend for us, and $10 raffle. So please, be generous and get a chance to win that free weekend. Outside in the reservation area, there's a little sign there that asks the person there that you're interested in getting a ticket, and we would wrap that off after the panelists tomorrow during lunch. So also mention that you just donate $2 for each time we visit the booth. So we would like to generate as much as we can. Over the years that we've done this is the 11th year, we have raised over $16,000. So each year we try to be not just our own community, but part of the big community around the area. And let's get started. So I want to introduce Jeff Richards. Richard Jeff, sorry. Sorry about that.
Good morning. All right, you guys can hear me. Excellent. We just need a minute. Okay. So Jason and I have a bet, by the way, that any random person can start clapping and get everybody else going, right? I lost that bet earlier today. Just give us a minute here and we'll get going. I do want to thank Richard, obviously, and the broader team again, right? I think, this event is done based on dedication and passion for these people. So, a couple of good things that I don't want to steal his thunder, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? So we sold out, right? So the event sold out. Great job by everybody. We also saw an increase. I think the numbers were last year, there were about 170 people. We're about 213 to be.
No, close to 30.
2:30. All right. So look, another key data point for us, right? When you're going to hear this from me in a minute, of just we're seeing things that are showing the plays that we're running, the dedication and passion of the people here, the results that the engineering team and now the sales and product management team have been able to do, have really started to drive some results. So we're excited about where we are, but we're much more excited about where we're going. So I'm going to share a quick little video and then we'll get rolling here. Right? We've been very, very busy. It's been, this is the second time I've seen the video, and for me, it was first and foremost, it was a quick reflection back, a bit of a retrospective. We do this all the time in the team, right? What are the things we're doing really well? What are the things that we need to focus on and make some adjustments on, right? And some of you heard from me yesterday that it has not been all rainbows and unicorns, right? So what you saw was a lot of the great stuff that we've been doing, but I can assure you we also recognize we can do better, right? And we can do better in many ways. We've gotten a lot of feedback, fortunately, from all of you over the last 24 hours of what we can do better, right? So you're going to see more and more from us of now, really, what's now, what are we focused on now, and what's next. Right? So one of the things that I've talked to my team a lot about is we need to move on. There's no more pointing back that, Big Blue did this, or somebody did that, or some customer did this. We own it now, right? And it's on us. And so that is the culture that we're instilling into this team. And that's what you're going to see continued from us is how do we execute, how do we deliver upon our commitments, how do we rebuild this business, and at the end of all of that, how do we shock the world that Domino is forever, right? What do you think of that, huh? So I want to take the opportunity to first and foremost, thank all of you. Thank all of you for continuing to be focused on our portfolio, dedicated to our portfolio. I can't tell you how often I tell my peers at HCL, my friends and family, how fortunate I feel to have an ecosystem like you folks do. Right? Nobody else in the HCL software portfolio has this. I can assure you of that, right? And it all starts with all of you who've been around since, 1993, give or take, right? Around there. It's been a long time, right? But now I think this is our chance, again, to reset how we're going to go forward and how we're going to stay focused. Oh, sorry, I move around a lot. But we want to share a couple things here, right? And these are, again, you're going to hear from us all day today of key data points, right? Data points that we're seeing where we're sitting there and we're going, okay, we're doing the right things, right? And for us, a lot of that starts with all of you. So in the last year, we've actually visited, met, spoke with over 2,000 customers. Between myself and the broader team, this was the best location for an event, right? I'm from Boston, so literally right up the road, no plane flight for us, right? But I can tell you that we're seeing progress, right? We're seeing new user groups come back, right? So for those of you who don't know, a couple weeks ago, we had the Russian Notes user group. They disbanded about 5 years ago, came back this year, and there were 395 people. 395 people from Russia. Right? Who would have thought, right? I mean, how amazing is that, right? And we had others come back. Again, another data point for us, right? Of, okay, we've got to be doing the right things here. So the other thing that we want to raise is we are going to continue the factory tours, right? So for those of you who've been to the factory tours and have attended those events, the feedback has been incredibly positive. We are now expanding to Japan. So we'll be in Japan the first week of December, doing a factory tour there. Unfortunately, there will be no Skit this time around. Yeah, no, well, we came up with a couple, but Jason's were clearly inappropriate, so we stayed away. But we're also moving towards China, too. China will be the next place. So you're now seeing us take a much more global approach into what we're doing, but we'll continue the cadence of doing a factory tour in Europe, as well as back here in the States, right? So we'd love to see a lot of you at the factory tour. And look, we've started to do some things that we've learned we could do better at those factory tours. If you were at the one in Chelmsford just a couple months ago, you saw something called Innovation Alley, right? Which was this area where Jason and others had come up with, hey, let's do some art of the possible. Let's do some really cool stuff and show what this product is really made of, right? You're going to see that here. We've flown people in from Manila to actually do this, by the way. And the reason why we did that was because a lot of our younger talents from an engineering perspective is in Manila, and these guys are fantastic, by the way. The work they've been able to do, learning our products, while leveraging more modern stack technologies has been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal. So I would recommend spend some time. Michael, Alexander, and others are going to be kicking that off. I'd recommend going over there. But again, take a look at what we're doing, right? We're not only executing upon our roadmaps, but we're also making investments in what can this product really do, right? And how do we show it? That's the real key here. So let's talk about our strategy. Many of you have seen this, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because we want to reaffirm to all of you that we have a strategy, that we are going to execute and stay focused on that strategy. And really, the strategy is resonating, right? So, give you a simple example. We met with an analyst yesterday, showed him this. Feedback was extremely positive, that he's seeing similar things in the market, right? We're integrating and complementing other vendors' offers is the right thing to do in certain scenarios, right? There's a couple of those logos up there that I've learned, and I'm sure many of you have learned as well in my career, that you don't want to fight them head on, right? Why fight them head on? Integrate, federate, complement their products. It's the right way to go. There's others that we have plans on how we will, as our chairman said, when I put this up, his point to me was, how are you going to kill some of these competitors? Use that word, by the way. The 76-year-old gentleman said, how are you going to kill those competitors, right? Instill that culture into us of, oh yeah, we'll go after some of these. You bet we will, right? But the key here is we're going to bring these products together, first and foremost, our products. They're going to work better together. They're going to be much more standardized on the stack that they're sitting on, from replacing things from some of the legacy debt that we have with IBM, with WAS and DB2, to Dockerizing, containerizing it, as well as standardizing on our security stack, right? So there will be lots of investment there, but then you're going to start to see us where we start to integrate, right? So simple example, Andrew Bambi and Danielle Baptiste have been talking a lot about integrating same time directly into connections. Right? Why not? Right? Same time now has persistent chat. It'll have federation in 11, right? It should be working better with our products first and foremost, right? So there's a lot of work, and you're seeing investments we're making with Leap with Notes and Donna, right? Great buzz happening around the design and what we're able to do there, right? And more to come, and Andrew is going to cover that. But I think the next phase for us, and you'll hear a lot of this from Danielle in Connection 7, so it's literally right around the corner here, right, for us, is we're going to first go after Microsoft from a connections perspective. We're going to integrate with SharePoint, and we're going to complement that product, because people think that SharePoint is like connections. SharePoint's nothing more than a file repository. You overlay connections on top of it, and it makes it much more valuable. Right? Just as a simple example. One example of many that we're going to be attempting. So we want to reaffirm to you, we have our strategy, we're confident in that strategy, and now it's on to us, the feedback activity team, to prove all of you that we can commit to it and actually execute, right? And I'll talk a bit more about that here. How many of you have seen the new logos, the new branding? Decent amount, right? So first and foremost, this is just the start. So you're going to hear from us over the next day and a half about how we are reimagining this portfolio. And where do you start, right? Where do you start? Start with branding, right? So first thing we've done is we've established a family of products now. Similar look and feel, right? Very design-led. So not led by our engineering organization, not led by me. We have a team, a dedicated team that's focused on design. They work very closely with Andy Bosley, who you maybe heard yesterday, who leads our marketing organization. They worked hand in hand on this, right? And so for me, I appreciate, as much as I appreciate the artistic aspects of all of this, the real key for me here, and I hope for all of you, is the taglines. One of the things that we were challenged by our leader in the software group, Darren Oberst, was if you're in an elevator and you got 2 or 3 floors to go up, how are you going to describe your product? Tell us what you're going to do, right? Well, Domino. What is Domino? Domino's not mail, right? Let's be honest, it's not mail, right? Mail's nothing more than a highly integrated app on the Domino platform, right? What is Domino? Domino is apps that run your business. That's what it is, right? What is Connections? Connections is all about people, right? That's what it's all about. And when you look at it, people power your business, Connections powers your people, right? Very simple, prescriptive taglines of what the products do. And that, by the way, is one of the things we have learned. One of the Achilles heels of many of the products that we have is we hear it all the time, it's a Swiss Army knife. Well, I'll tell you what happens with Swiss Army knives. People don't know how to use them, right? And so you've got to get a little bit more targeted. We got to find where our lane is. Where do we win, right? Where do we win? So that exercise has been going on. Unfortunately for Andrew and Danielle and the rest of the product management team, I use the example of they're going into a washer machine. They're dirty right now. They get spun around, flipped upside down, forced to think very different about their products than they ever had before. And then we start to come out with, okay, this is the value proposition. We're not selling features. We're selling what is the value proposition. Why? Why should you buy the products? That's the number one thing we need to be answering for all of you. Why, right? What and how? Easy. Most of that's engineering. But the why, that's the key. And that's what these folks have they've been targeted with, pushed and shoved, and are making great progress on. But again, I think for us here, design-led, and just the start about what we're doing around reimagining. Whoa. Come on. You go. You got it. Sorry about that. Literally look at that once. All right, cool. So let's talk about momentum. Two things here that I want to focus on, right? You're going to hear again, you'll hear this from us. Seeing the data points where we're starting to see reinstatements, right? When we look at what are our sales plays, what we classified to our community was our go-to-market model is going to be 3 steps. First step, defend the existing base. How do we defend that base? That's what we've been doing for the last 16 months. Defend. Every deal, get in there and fight for it, right? Our decline in this business 18 months ago was over 20% year over year. That is not a healthy business, people, right? You folks know this, right? 20%, over 20%. In the last 18 months, with the actions we've been able to take, the momentum and working with all of you, we're down to single digits. Single digits. How many companies? That's growth, by the way, as an aside. Another way of looking at it, that's clear growth for us, right? And how are we doing it? First, renewals. Renewals are really, really strong, right? We're seeing the value proposition. Customers see why they should renew. We're investing, right? We are investing. The next play from a go-to-market perspective is all about reinstatements. We have thousands of customers, thousands, who use our products every single day, but don't pay SMS. And you know why they don't pay SMS? Number one, the product works pretty well, right? So why pay for support? If I'm not changing it, it's running, I'm not going to pay for support. Number two, we never gave them a reason because we were not innovating. We were not building new features, right? We are now. V10 was the beginning. V11 was us showing you that we could do it again, because I know there were some doubters maybe, right? And then V12 is where we start to actually shock the world, right? Where we start to innovate and get to a point where a lot of our technical debt is gone, and we're focusing on innovation and how do we set the pace for people to chase us. That's the goal for us here, right? So reinstatements is number 2. Number 3, new logos. New logos, right? How do we get new logos again? And that's where we need all your help, right? Where we feel like the business is in good condition, but nowhere near where it can be. So more focus coming on that, but it gives you a sense of not only are we focusing on the marketing side, so you heard some of that from Andy, we have a broader plan around, we're going to have a regular drumbeat of what we're doing, how we're doing it on a regular cadence, but we're also thinking a little bit different, right? So we're going to do the Tokyo Live event. We're going to continue to stay focused on the user groups, right? We're going to actually have a lot more focus on analysts. So we're trying to drive that air cover that many of you have been asking for, right? Many of our customers have said to us, get out there and market the product so people know it's still alive, right? So you're going to see more investment than you've seen in previous years of the previous owner around marketing. That'll include changes to our digital experience. It'll include investments we're going to make in social, by the way. But the big thing I think for us is you're going to see us more engaging analysts with a strategy on how we do that. And that just literally started kicking off yesterday for us, right? Where we're now, we've targeted our top 3 analysts, we're now engaging and starting to push forward with them. The last thing is we've actually built a new team. So Jason has actually taken on additional responsibility where he's going to lead the research and development organization for digital solutions. So what does that mean to all of you? That means that I'm investing from a P&L perspective a couple $1 million and for him to actually build really cool stuff, right? Cool stuff that may not sell, right? But may show what's the art of the possible of the product, number 1, right? But then the ability to incubate new features, new functions, new assets that we can then take and productize, right? So significant investment happening there. For me, that shows just the evolution of the organization. We're maturing and we're evolving, right? From a startup to a business that's stabilized to where now we start to actually drive operational excellence as well as innovation, which is a really tough balance. But I'm excited that Jason's taken on that responsibility. You guys are going to hear a lot more about that as we go along. All right, so let's talk about it. So our partner and ecosystem. You heard a little bit about, I think many of you know about the master's program. There was a session on that yesterday. We are happy to have almost 110 masters identified, HCL masters, right? We have 7 grandmasters who have come in. And then I think the other interesting thing is we've had over 300, so over 300 nominations for this year for the HCL Masters program. The other, cool thing about this is, again, this team, between Tim and the rest of the team, they continue to innovate. We burn the path forward. This program is now going to be leveraged across all of HCL. Right? So they're seeing the value of what we're actually doing and taking those best practices and pushing it more broadly across the organization. I want to also acknowledge some key partners. We have plenty of partners in here. There are a couple that we've worked very, very strategically with that are really, really important to our portfolio and to our customers. The Pangenda team, obviously, the ISW Kudos team with Adam Brown. Lots and lots of great things from that team. And then for those of you who have heard about what we're doing around the cloud, we had a cloud session yesterday. We had a webinar with the partners yesterday as well. We have now identified the core set of partners that we're going to leverage within our partner cloud as well. All right, jump right into this one. Okay. So the cloud, right? So this is the one I was referring to of rainbows and unicorns, right? This has not been rainbows and unicorns for us at all, nor for many of you, right? I want to, first and foremost say that, look, the cloud is part of our strategy. It is definitely part of our strategy. It's part of the investments we're going to make forward. Our approach, though, is very different. We're not going to drag you to the cloud. It's not part of our belief. When our customers and partners are ready, we'll walk you to the cloud, right? A little bit of a different approach. We're not going to force that hand. I want to say that we did a lot of research on what many of you know of SCN, Smart Cloud Nodes, right? Looked at the architecture, looked at the running the business, looked at the cost of it, looked at the features and functions of it, and the reality was very, very clear. That was not the cloud of our future, right? It just wasn't. It was built as an IBM stack that was never planned to leave IBM, right? And so for us, it put us in a very tough spot to make a decision, right? And sometimes those decisions, can be negatively impacting initially until you start to progress and actually work your way through it. And this is a good example of it, right? 12 months, really, really tight timeline. And we acknowledge that, right? Was not my choice, but sometimes that's the way things work, right? We are happy that in 3 months, working very, very closely with Prominent, Bellsoft, ISW, and there's a set of others where we came to the realization of, look, we have partners who do this and they do it really well. They've done it for a long time, too, by the way. 20 plus years, 25 years. They have been hosting and leveraging our products, right? So it made a lot of sense for us. And when we looked at the market, by the way, many providers are moving in this direction. They're offering a multi-cloud, which is the new buzzword, right? And so for us, this was the best one for us to focus on immediately. And so you'll hear more about this later on this afternoon from Danielle and from Andrew on the offers and working closely with John and team around what does this experience mean. I also want you to know that we've been very thoughtful about this. This has been something that if you were to ask me 3-4 days ago was keeping you up at night, it's this. It literally is. It's that and V11 just right around the corner. But it's definitely this, right? And so for us, having this announcement, having the partners, having a destination for our customers to go to is a little bit of a relief. It's not where we need to be, not where we're going to be, but at this moment, we have a destination where we can send our customers, right? And we've worked really hard on identifying the right approaches around migration. And so there'll be more on that in the session from Andrew and Danielle later on. But again, this is really important to our business, and we are appreciative of your patience because we've had a couple of fits and starts here on this one. All right. For those of you, I'll talk about this one. So, for our V11 launch, we are going to do it in Tokyo. Last year, we did V10 in Frankfurt. We made the decision that we're actually going to do a similar bit like you have with Netflix, where we're going to load a bunch of content onto a portal where you'll have access to it about what are the best practices, what are some of the things that you should know from a product and portfolio perspective. This is going to be your landing page for our V11 and our 6.5 release. We are super excited because we are going to do this live, by the way. So it'll be kicked off 9 p.m. in Tokyo, which will be 9 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to have a whole follow the globe model that we're going to be doing, right? And so for us, I think the other cool thing you should think about here is, when was the last time you saw these types of videos happening, right? This is all over Twitter right now, just as an aside. If you haven't seen it yet, then you haven't been on Twitter. Right? It's all over it. So we're, again, trying to get that buzz going in the market, and this is just another example of how we're going to actually go about it. So V11 and 6.5, that's why I think many of you are here. We committed to all of you last year when we finished V10 that we would do a major release in 2019. We didn't think we'd end up doing a major release of Connections as well, as a side note. Nor did we think we were going to do a major release of DX, right? So for those of you who have WebSphere Portal, your customers, partners of it, then you know that we did our first major release. Jason and team delivered 9.5 when they committed they would do it in September, right? Another example of us pushing and delivering and executing upon our commitments. But when we think about what are the key things, right? What are the taglines in V11 for Domino? It's all about our apps and the building blocks around the apps, right? So you're going to see that one of the goals that we have for 11 and 12 and 13, and by the way, we have plans to all the way up to version 14, right? Gives you a sense of how far we're thinking out. We're not just thinking about the next 12 months. We are literally thinking 3 to 4 years out. What are the hills and the areas of focus that we need to target moving forward? But for these releases, it's all about building apps faster and easier. That's what we've heard from all of you, right? That is the major focus for V11. For 6.5, for Connections, one of the major hurdles that we've been focused on, the team has been very focused on, is around adoption and consumption. A lot of customers who use Connections, but they don't fully understand the power of it, right? And so we're going to improve that with our on-ramping and some of the tools that we fully integrated into Connections over the last 4 months. And I gotta say, I gotta give that team kudos, right? They were not an IP deal. So what that means is July 1st, over 100 people transitioned over. Petabytes worth of data transitioned over. Thousands of servers, VMs moved over while they were actually delivering, right? right? Pretty amazing when you think about it, right? I thought the Domino team kicked ass on V10. These guys just blew their doors off, right? It wasn't even close. 5 months, they punched out a release and they did the transition on time, saving us millions of dollars, by the way, that allows us to spend on development and not extending that transition with IBM, right? So fantastic job by them, but then also V11 for same time. You're seeing more and more investment in same time. Thousands of customers who value same time, who leverage it from a chat perspective, from a meetings perspective, in audio and video. One of the things that we hear from many of our customers, the reason why they use this application is because it's highly secure, right? And I'll tell you guys a quick story on same time, really fast here. About 7 months ago, I was down in Washington, D.C., presenting to the U.S. Treasury before we closed the deal. We're talking about how we were building software, how we had biometric locks and locked servers and ACL lists and where the last mile of our builds were, et cetera, right? I can tell you right now, the code that we build every day is way more secure than it was at IBM. Way more. We are under totally different guidelines, right? So in this meeting went really, really well. Myself, Darren Oberst, our Chief Security Officer, we spoke to, there were 4-star generals in the room, right? We were prepped beforehand that if someone said they were with the State Department, they were with the CIA, right? If they were with Maryland Holding Group, they were with the NSA, right? So every 3-letter acronym that you can think of in the US federal government is likely a customer of these products, by the way, right? And so when that meeting wrapped up, it went really well. I got up and I was walking out, and there was a gentleman who introduced himself that he was with the State Department earlier. He had the beard going, he had the sunglasses on the top of his head, and you can assume where he was from, right? What department he was in. And he pulled me aside, and I was like, oh, geez, what the heck happened? I'm like, they let me in the door. I don't know what's going on now. And he said to me, I want you to go back. I want you to go back and tell your engineers that your product saves lives. Saves lives, right? I was like, really? Okay. Can you explain? Help me, right? So he said to me, he said, look, we had a couple of U.S. citizens who had been kidnapped in the Middle East. And the boots on the ground, the term he used, the boots on the ground, we communicated through same time. That's what they used. So my point to you on that is, if it's secure enough for them, I'm pretty sure it's secure enough for all of you, by the way, right? So very cool story, gave me the goosebumps when I heard it. I ran back and told Pat, and I'm sure he ran around and told everybody else, right? But that's the cool thing about our products. I don't think we fully understand the value proposition here, of how important these really are. Communication is incredibly important. Secure communication is incredibly important, right? So just a single example of how our products are used. All right, V12, right? So V11's right around the corner. We're in the throes of it right now. I will tell you that we're in the middle of what we classify as endgame, which means we have a whole lot of technical debt to work through in the last couple of months. And the team's doing a good job. We will deliver this calendar year for sure, V11, 6.5, same time going out the door, right? There's no messing around on that. But at the same time, in parallel, we're already moving on this, right? Similar to what we did last year, already focused on 12. Andrew has a great backlog. He's completely integrated into our customers and partners, and we're already starting to execute on what are we doing around the designer? How are we improving our workflow? How are we actually improving the user experience? I can assure you, and my focus, and I know the team's focus is 12, version 12, version 7 of connections, version 10 of Portal are going to be the big releases. We've been catching up, people, right? That's what we've been doing, trying to catch up. We start to actually jump hurdles in the next major releases for all of us. So we're excited about where we are, but again, we're more excited about where we're going. So 7, we talked about integrations. Danielle's going to talk more about this, right? How do we complement other people's products? How do we drive pull-through? At HCL, we have a practice of $750 million a year with Microsoft, right? Sell Microsoft, install Microsoft in our services organization. My point to that team is I want my share. Why are you not pulling through connections on these deals? Should be able to. Should not be too difficult, right? We should get our fair share, right? And that's one of the things you will see us focused on. And integration is a big aspect of it, but you've heard Danielle and Andre talk about a lot more about tailored experience. A lot of the experience changes are going to be coming in V7 for connections. And Danielle will cover that much more in a minute. Same time, again, you will see further investment here around, so we've got persistent chat, done, right? We'll have federation, done in 11. We will be looking at our own open source meetings technology, by the way. So we are going to open up our APIs. We're going to break our dependencies on Polycom. We're going to allow you to use Zoom, use Cisco, use GoToMeeting, or use our technology, right? So we are going to change the game a bit here on this one. Should stop with that. All right, and DX, right? So I know this is a lot about collab, but I will tell you, this is another huge aspect of our portfolio, right? And for us, that team has set the pace. They have set the pace for the rest of us around Docker, right? It used to take, how long did it take to build?
Quick start was 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Quick start.
So yeah, 2 weeks, quick start.
To install it.
And what do you have now running on for Docker?
We can do it in 4 minutes.
Right? 2 weeks, 4 minutes. I don't know about you. If you can get it to 2 minutes, then maybe we would all. Hey, maybe we would have clapped on it. It was 2 minutes. Seriously, that's important. So that gives you an example of where we're going with containerization, right? Jason will talk about that as well, but that is a broad part of our portfolio. These guys, again, we're putting our teams up against each other in a nice competitive fashion, see who can actually win, right? And so that right now they're setting the pace around containerization. No two ways about it. But I'm going to hand it off to Jason here. So Jason's going to give you a little bit more sense into our overall architecture, where we're going from that. He's going to actually do a demo of some of the cool things that the team has been working on as well, to show you a bit of the art of the possible and what our products can really do. But again, I wanted to thank all of you. I wanted to thank Richard, just the broader team. Again, I can't say enough about the people here and the dedication that they have, not only to the product, but to each other, right? It's really, really impressive. So, again, I'm honored to carry the torch forward for many of you. And I'm looking forward to, again, where we're going, right? Let's not look back anymore. It's time to move forward, right? And that is the motto you're going to hear from us. It's just the start, but it's time to focus forward, right? So, thank you very much. Hope you all have a great day. I'll see you all.
Hello, there we go. I don't need slides for this. Yahoo! 4 young men get on a bus. It's cold. It's raining like it is right now outside. They're miserable. 2 of the young men fancy themselves songwriters. When is it? It's February 29th, We're in Birmingham, in the UK. They're the backup band going to a gig. And these two young men, they're frustrated. They've had 2 singles in the market. The first one did, abysmally, getting only to number 21 in the UK pop charts in 1963. The second one reached number 2. Progress. But they feel like they're duplicating the same old thing over and over again. They feel like they're sounding like Elvis or Little Richard, their heroes. They feel like they need to break the model, do something different. Dear God, what are we doing with Dorothy? God help me. Pay no attention to the screen behind you.
That was the intention of it.
So these 2 young men, they're sitting on the bus. They've got a 3-hour bus ride. They're going to Wales. They're going to perform in a gig. The lead singer, by the way, is Joni Mitchell. She's going to be the headline act of this deal. And they decide, you know what, we'll write a song. 3 hours, they're going to write a song. What happens on this bus will change popular music for all time. They write a song that has no lead singer. They write a song that has a coda, something hitherto only seen in orchestration, not popular music. For the first time ever in a popular music song, this song has not 1, not 2, but 3 augmented chords. For those of you who are musicians, an augmented chord is where you take a chord at its purest form and you selectively add something to it. Not take away, but you add something to it, to add some dissonance, some melody. Not only do they manage to do this, adding augmentation, but they do this collaboratively. These 2 young men sit down. For those 3 hours, they work as one. They build something amazing. And do you know what else they did? They were able to not only write this song in 3 hours, then they went to their other 2 bandmates, rehearsed it with them, and an hour later were performing it on stage. Unbelievable, right? Those 2 young writers were named John and Paul. Their friends were Richard Starkey and George Harrison. You might have heard of these guys. They were known as the Beatles. The name of the song, by the way, is From Me to You. I can see I should get a cut from Apple Music on From Me to You, honestly. I've told this story so many times. But I challenge you to go listen to it. And I want you to listen to other music from 62, 63. It kind of all sounds the same, right? It's, it's CGF, song's over. Now listen to From Me to You. It doesn't sound like a pop song from 1963. So what are the 3 things that they did? And I didn't really want this to look like a flux capacitor. It was a total accident. Otherwise, I would have gone and bought another, jacket for Richard to wear. But there are 3 things that I take away from this story and why I'm sharing it with you. These are the 3 things that we need to do collectively as a family. We need to go faster. We need to be able to write that song in 3 hours, rehearse it, and go on stage. We need to start working even more collaboratively. A great story I'll tell you, one of the things that I do is I run the engineering team for digital experience, which is Portal. And our playbacks, so at the end of our agile sprints, our playbacks are open to customers and partners. And one of my customers just showed up one day and started telling us, why didn't you ask us about this? This is crap. Their words. And it was fantastic, right? It was fantastic. I've got 20 engineers on the call, and my friends from the Netherlands are calling something crap. It was great. We need to be more collaborative. And Richard was talking about this before. There is nothing that can stop us if we work together. And then lastly, these products, they're good products. And you all know this. They're fantastic products. But we need to selectively start augmenting them. We need to add some things to them. We need to not be tied to the past, as Richard was talking about before. We need to move on, right? And there are some amazing things that we can do if we do that. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of some architecture that we're going to use to bring these products together, augment a little bit, find a way to go faster, but also maybe a way that we can all collaborate a little better. Stefan?
Next slide.
Yes, please. I've talked for like 20 minutes to one. So Richard showed this slide. I don't have the pretty animations, unfortunately. But Richard showed the slide. What I want to talk about is little gray bits in between. These are great products, like I said. They don't really work very well together. Has anybody ever tried to do single sign-on between all these products? Each one of these products has its own logging system that are different. Some log in text, some log in JSON, some log in a notes database. Can you imagine trying to manage that as an administrator? I have a customer who spends 2 million euros a year doing SSO between these products. 2 million euros a year to a third party. Right, we're going to fix that. Stefan? This is fun. So I want to start off talking about something that's really changed in software architecture. And it's around the concept of conversation. Everything is a conversation when you start talking about various systems. You know, would you log this for me? Hey, this user just called. Should I authenticate them or not? Everything is a conversation, and it's a bidirectional conversation. You see this architectural pattern occurring all around the world today. It's very prevalent in our friends at Amazon. It's very prevalent in the things and the innovation that Microsoft's doing right now. Everything is a conversation. Stefan, this is fun. Oh, look at this. All right, well then, it's a waste of time. And there's a big shift to this. It even has a fancy word to it. It's called event-driven architecture. But as you can see some of the quotes up here, there's an awful lot happening around this concept. And many of you will say, oh, you know, I love my REST APIs, and they're great, wonderful, and I'm not talking about replacing those APIs. I'm talking about something that will complement them. Something that will make them better, more powerful. If you think about a REST API, right, in order for me to use, let's pretend that you're a REST API. I'm going to instantiate you. I realize that's a dirty term, but that's fine. We're friends, right? But I need to know what you're going to respond with, right? I need to know what you expect from me to actually do your job. That's not true in an event-driven architecture. In an event-driven architecture, I just send a message on bus. Hey, I don't know who's going to log this, but here you go. Please do it for me. In an event-driven architecture, you do not have to predispose what the payload needs to be. And if you think about our products, that could be a really interesting way of bringing these together.
So I'm an event-driven architecture with just go.
Yes, do that. Thank you. So if you think about, if everything's just a message, and I don't have to know who's responding to whom, when, or why, I can do all sorts of cool things. What if I wanted to create an index and do search across all these products? Anybody ever try to do a search between domino connections? Good luck on that. But what if we could? Think about the intrinsic power in being able to bring all of these products together. If I could just send something to an index service, and I don't even know what it does with that particular content, I just have the assurance that it's going to tell me, okay, I've indexed it. Don't know how, don't care how. With an event-driven architecture, I can do that. With an event-driven architecture, this concept of SSO and these problems that we've had for the last 25 years, where we had a bunch of dev teams, great people, wonderful people, they all hated each other. That wasn't a joke, by the way. That goes away. And we can do some amazing and wonderful things. So what we can do is we can take this, right, this world where, we have, I don't know, Daniel, what is it? We've probably got like 5 people services between all these products, at least. Right? We've got buddy lists, we've got domino directories, we've got connection. Heck, Portal has some kind of person service in its personalization engine. Why? No idea. Right? But we can bring all of these things together. We can do it in a way that augments. not breaks what we have. So we can change this into that. And this is a world not just for HCL, not just for our partners, not just for our customers. This is a world for all of us. If you can imagine the concept of sitting on a bus and you can listen to every single event that you choose to subscribe to and be able to react upon it and not have to worry about breaking everything downstream, this is for you. This is going to allow us to have SSO. This is going to allow us to have a common logging system, a common authentication and authorization system. This is going to allow us to do some amazing things in a very short period of time. So I have a session at 1400 hours today where I'm actually going to go into depth with this and we can talk about it. It's pretty exciting. Next slide, please. But I want you to leave when you're thinking about the architecture and the things we're trying to do with this. You know, those 4 young men on that bus for 3 hours were able to break the paradigm. And as Richard spoke about before, you know, let's move on. We own it. We collectively, as an ecosystem, we own this. Let's make the best of it. Let's go faster. Let's work better together. These aren't bad products. They're great products. But we can add to them. We can make them better. We can do some amazing things with them. So I don't know if any of you knew this, but I used to own 3 laser tag centers. While being a distinguished engineer in IBM because I'm insane. I used to own 3 laser tag centers. Go ahead and go to the next line. I used to own 3 laser tag centers. This is actually some shots of them. I had bumper cars too because they're cool. Yes, I'm obviously out of my mind. It was a fun business. These are my 2 daughters, by the way. The one on the left and the little Chinese girl, who's much bigger now, by the way. I've looked worse. Come on. But it was an interesting experience. But why I'm sharing with you the fact that I used to own these laser tag centers is I ran my entire business on Domino. Amen! This is actually a screenshot from my POS system, which I hand wrote. Because, again, I'm insane. Buy one? No. I could totally do that. And if anyone tells you laser tag's not a profitable business, it is a very good business. In fact, the only reason I left the laser tag business is because Richard made me move to Singapore. And then made me move back. He can't make up his mind. But anyways, the reason I'm sharing all this with you is that I'm going to show you some things, Stefan's going to help, that will kind of give you an idea of what we do with real data. So when I thought about, I wanted to show you some pretty cool stuff that we've been working on, but I wanted to show you something that actually was grounded in some reality. And I don't have any of your business data, but I have mine. So I wanted to show you. So what you're seeing behind you is, this is a view of revenue by month at one of my centers. This particular center was called the Woods Laser Tag. I named everything after trees, including my children, by the way. From top to bottom, it's Lindsay, Holly, and Timber. But anyway, so I'm showing you this because one of the things that's really fascinating and interesting about Notes and Domino is being able to really visualize and understand the data that you're looking at. I mean, this is interesting, right? You can see how many bumper car plays, you can see how many laser tag games, but I can't really get any trending from this, right? I don't really understand it. But there's this really cool technology that was originally called Python Notebooks. Anybody here know what a Python Notebook is? Look at that. It's now called Jupyter, by the way, if you guys are aware. And it is a really exciting way of looking, visualizing, and interacting with data. But wait, can Python talk to Domino? Damn right. Stefan. So here you can see us logging in. And I'll step back a little bit. And we can actually go in and look at, so here you can see me going through and running this particular Python script. And you can see the various ways we're actually doing authentication with this using JWT. I'm going to show you a little bit more of that in a minute. But you can go through and we can take that database, and here's the actual database we're going after. It's the same database I just sent you a screenshot of from the Woods Laser Tag in Ocoee, Florida. You can see here we're going to run them step by step. We can actually get the response. And now we can go through and look at the JSON. Not very useful, is it? It's sort of like a view in Notes. However, what if we dial this in a little bit so we can take care of some of the duplication? We don't really need the Notes IDs in this particular document. We don't need the UN IDs. But if we go in and we start dialing in a little bit, we can see some things. That looks a little more interesting in looking at our data. But what if we run this again? Now we can see a scatter graph of our register totals per number of games. And then if we dial this in a little bit more, we can actually look around and see what is our distribution of transactions per number of games individuals purchased in our laser tag center. We can actually see the data. So just to give you an idea of what you're looking at, over here, you're seeing the transaction cost. So I was a high-class laser tag center. It's expensive to come to my centers. And then underneath, you're actually seeing the number of laser tag games these individuals purchased. So if I had access to this data in 2010, one of the things this tells me pretty immediately is I should offer a package for 4 games. I had only had 1, 2, and 3 game packages. If you look at this data, it's pretty damn obvious that I need to have a 4-game package. I didn't know that before. Imagine what you could do with this kind of technology with your business, with your customers' businesses and your partners. It's pretty powerful stuff. Next slide, please, Stefan. So we've taken this. I love JSON. In fact, one of the founders of Jive was my college roommate. He used to call me Object Boy. But we take this and we turn it in to that. It's just not the data. 7, next slide. So as Richard said, I have embarked on another project, and we're going to call it HCL Labs. And the first thing we're going to show off is something called Project Keep. For those of you who don't know, a keep is a small castle. Yes. So what are you going to see? One of the things that troubles me and keeps me up at night, other than the cloud, as Richard mentioned, is I worry about the skills that we have. Probably sitting in this room right now is about 80% of the skilled developers in LotusScript in the world. You think I'm joking? And that's not good. That's not good for our environment. That's not good for our ecosystem. That's not good for all of us. LotusScript does not define our platform. It is simply a way of expressing Domino as a platform. And those are very different things. Same thing with Domino Designer. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Anybody of you here have a Mac? Good luck on that. Right? There are some other things that we can do. We can broaden our aperture. We can look at things a little bit differently. We can be, as Richard was talking about before, contrarian, challenge things, try to move ourselves forward. So you're going to see some interesting things over the next couple of minutes. One, you're going to see us supporting standard IDEs. I don't think it's that bad. Thank you. You're going to see this little product from Microsoft called Visual Studio Code working with Domino. Thank you. I'll be going. Thank you. You're going to see LotusScript transcribed in real time to something. You're going to see an entire whole new set of REST APIs, including things like create a form programmatically with a REST API. Change it, modify it, save it, access all of the calendaring capabilities of Domino using REST APIs out of the box. And you're going to authenticate with all of this using JWT. And you can have any provider you want. You want to log the Domino via Facebook, have at it. So Stefan, you think you can show them a little bit of Project Key?
I can try. He's just putting the pressure on what I have to deliver next year. This is me. Okay, end the show. Okay, go away. And just a quick reminder, don't look at the man behind the curtain. So I'm now John Doe. So everybody legally trained should supposed to laugh now.
Hi, John.
I work for the Lasertech studio, which has the perks. I get a free T-shirt, but I had to get the haircut like a boss. So that's it. I'm 25. Let's say.
And adorable.
Sweet. And like I say, one of the things I say, I like to use Postman, and he explained to me Postman actually was a person coming to your home with folded sheets of paper called letters. I think it's more like a tool to do REST APIs. Okay, so we build a little bit stuff here, which is the Domino Key API, and just to highlight the tagline, highly experimental API escaped from the Manila lab. It's not public yet, I think I changed the endpoints about 20 times during the process. So I said I can authenticate against Domino, don't create all these certificates for external tools. I can read data, I can redesign, I can delete some of the stuff, and then that. This is a subset of what we're working on. I just had to make sure that we can demo something. So the boss is picky, demanding. He wants to have his revenue figures every day. So I open up this notes thing and look at the figures, and then I'm lazy. So I always tell my kids, be lazy. Like Daimler was too lazy to feed the horses, so invented the car. Edison was too lazy to buy oil for the lamp, so invented light bulb. So I invented a little tool where I just type in my boss's phone number, which one was yours?
The 781.
The 781.
Dear God, now everyone's going to call me.
So there, and then I go type in the figure I pulled out of Domino. And I can kind of, let's say that was okay lazy phase 1. I felt like I should be lazy phase 2. Now I need to look up my jokes, I'll say.
You have your jokes that you look up?
Yeah, let's say, look, like say, you know, also, okay. So, by the way, I love Judy Garland. I wish she was my granny. So, I'm not going to send you. So the lazy phase 2 would be, can I just go and get Domino provide the number for me? And then I realized he said something. Oh, just modify the Lotus script agent. And I said, Lotus script. I'm pretty sure this is older than COBOL. And it doesn't perform make money until rituals. So I fired up my favorite IDE. No, it's not Eclipse. Eclipse is the thing, like say, where the sun disappeared, and I love Eclipse because in the last Eclipse, my girlfriend kissed me for the first time. What do you think of me? I say dog. Hey, I'm German. That means German Shepherd. Oh, some of this is more things. Okay. So I fire up my. I fire up my Eclipse Works, my Visual Studio Code. I have my little project here, the toolkit that sends out all the stuff. And then you see down here there's a little icon that might be familiar to you if you paid attention to what Richard told about the new icons. I say, okay, nothing to see, let me go plus. I log into my server, connect to that, and already okay, that's these. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, demo breaks. No fair. Okay, backup plan. Okay, see me later at the Innovation Alley. I did the same thing using Postman. So that's just a fancy way. So I said, okay, let me have a look at that one agent. I said, okay, I send out and it doesn't like me. It's really bad.
Are you connected, Stefan?
I'm not connected, so
That would be a problem.
oh,
It's Judy Garland.
Studio Garland is okay. What's that? So, can I unplug for a second to fix this?
Sure.
Okay.
I can sing a song if you'd like.
Sing a song for me. Yeah, that would be nice. Okay.
So I will tell you what Stefan's supposed to be showing you, even though he's not showing it to you. We have integrated Visual Studio Code with Omna. You can actually view your agents. You can modify them and save them back in LotusScript. And then we've added something a little more interesting. So like I said, about 80% of the skill in LotusScript on the planet Earth is sitting in this room right now. However, there are a lot of developers who can code JavaScript. You notice that? So one of the things that Stefan is going to show you, if he can get his demo working, is we are live in real time translating LotusScript into JavaScript with dominant objects. That means that all of those 24-year-olds like Stefan, right, they can use the power of dominant. They can access the same cool capabilities that we all experienced back when we were 24. Which was awesome back in the day. And they'll be able to make modifications so that the power of your business logic that's kind of locked in a database today and you can't liberate it, and it's locked in a language that, while I understand very well, Stefan understands very well, and there's like 8 other people in this room understand it, that's about it. But what if everybody could use Domino? And that's really what we're trying to do. It's a great platform. Are you going to show it? Does it work?
Let's say it works a little more.
Okay,
So,
keep going.
I have an environment parameter which is God mode equals true, which bypasses my built-in security that led to the error message. But of course I can't show you God mode equals true. So
All right, Stefan, show it.
So somebody sends me a message that says don't screw up. I have the databases I have access to, and the POS system is over here. I can go look at it and say, okay, I got a form to agents. I look at the agent, and the one that I need to look at is the average monthly revenue. So I get a little bit of metadata ID. What's the name? What's the node ID? Then I go and say, I actually want to look at the agent, and there I see this ancient language.
By the way, written by me with no error handling whatsoever. Yeah! Yes! That's the healthy way to write LotusScript.
You know, like say, best practice is what everybody's doing, so no error handling in LotusScript is best practice.
Perfectly fine! Also, no R6 classes, so it's just LotusScript.
Okay.
Everybody loves view collections, right?
So I said, let me press the little magic button. Okay, again, just before I press it, now I say keep in mind. So,
Please work.
so I press it like this. And what I get here, you look and say, okay, this actually looks awfully like the LotusScript we had before. I said, just to give you a little, I say, you see total sales, weekly months account, and then you behind what was in LotusScript originally. And I say, just you look back on this one now. So you had this one. You see these variables and all that stuff that got translated into the respective JavaScript. There's a lot of, like, say, when we started working on that, I felt like Harry Potter mode. It's as close to magic as you can imagine. But then I go and
When it works.
So then I went and I said, okay, I saved the whole thing to whether that is actually working. So that's your phone number. So and you're gonna get a call. So say let's send this off, and if I don't get an error message, okay, it said it did something. Phone ringing.
Yes.
Okay.
This is an automated service announcement. Your revenue was $673730001.
And all that data is anonymous. Thank you, Dave. So think about this. You've taken an agent that's entire purpose was to send a blessed email with the revenue numbers. And now it's sending a voicemail. How cool is that? Right? And you've changed, what, 2 lines from the original load script?
Yeah, like say, I would like to clean up a little bit more, but like say, I do that when you away.
Okay. Thanks, Stefan.
Oh,
Can you pop over the left slide?
okay. Great slide.
Here's one slide. There's the last slide.
You mean that one?
No! Dear God, man! So, as Richard said, there is an innovation alley in this particular event. They are the gents sitting directly behind you in the corner. You can see them, they've got smiling faces and everything. See, they even wave on command. Cool. And they are going to show off 3 things that you've seen today. One, you're going to see Project Keep. You can go back and check it all out. You can see all the things that Stefan has been working quite a bit on. George, who you see back there, has been working handily on all of the Python stuff. And you can see how Python can do some amazing things with Python using Keep.
You know what gave the name to the language?
Oh, God. No.
That's
But
it.
you're going to tell me, aren't you?
Of course I do. I said, usually, like say, living in a tropical country, people would assume it's the snake. Well, actually, Python was named after Monty Python. And who couldn't love a programming language that's named after British comedians?
Always look on the bright side of life. Indeed. And then Kenneth, who you can see way in the back there, who is all the way here from Manila. He is going to show the next iteration. For those of you who had the factory tour in July in Chelmsford, we showed next generation rooms and reservations, where the room was actually intelligent. They could figure out how many people are in the room. It's really occupied. Can I use it? Can I not use it? Is it overfilled? We've got the next version. You'll be able to see it. And then lastly, way in the back and trying to hide behind the TVs is Andy Smith in the back there. And he's going to talk a lot about this next generation architecture I spoke to you about previously. He's going to talk about how events can really change the way that we interact with Domino. And the first iteration of this, the Keep stuff that you just saw, it's just firing events back and forth. There's no real tangible part of things that are hard tied to Domino. It's just firing events in an event bus. Pretty cool, exciting stuff. So they are there from 1 to 3 today, guys, and then 9 to 11 tomorrow, I think. Something like that. So by all means, go and check it out. Pretty exciting stuff. So I'll leave you with this. If we collectively can start going faster, if we can collaborate a little bit better, and that's just as much from an HCL perspective as it is for our partners and our customers, we can all work a little better together. If we can start taking these great products and adding a little more, just think of what we can accomplish and what we'll be talking about a year from now at this conference. So thank you. I think we're done. Yeah. You want to do Dorothy again?
That's it. But like anybody doesn't believe, like said, that it actually was real. If you give me your phone number, I can send you this little nasty message. This conversation does not serve any purpose. Goodbye.
Actually, I have most of their phone numbers. We could totally do that. Is
besides the Innovation Alley, on the other corner, we will have the Meet the Developers. I don't know you know what the schedule is, Jason? For the Meet the Developers coming in?
Tim? No idea.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow or today? I think there's one today and tomorrow. So, but anyway, there should be some developers from ACL, the actual developers of download same time and connection coming. And they will be on the left corner here, and it has Innovation Lab here on the right side. So, introduce, everybody knows who Graham is, and now he's part of OpenTF, and he's going to have a little discussion about OpenTF.
Just to start off, all of the notes developers in the room, think back to Jason's application and the financial numbers on the screen there. Jason, write justify your numbers. So just for that,
Everybody's a critic.
well, I was just like vibrating in my chair there going, come on, that's easy. But I'm really, really impressed with your looks. Well done. Okay, so just a quick conversation about OpenNTF, where we've been, where we're going. And also we are going to announce the winner of the beauty contest for Collage. Before I start, I want to recognize, I, as Richard said, joined the board of OpenNTF this past year. Howard, everyone stand up. Howard's on the board. Jesse is in the room. Doug is in the room. Stand up, Jesse. And we're happy to announce he's not here, but Dan Dumont of HCL has joined the board of HCL as well. Okay, so everybody knows OpenNTF. I sure hope everybody knows OpenNTF. Been around for a long time. And if we kind of think back to the history of OpenNTF, very much focused on Domino application development. And kind of the growth of OpenNTF, if you think of it that way, came around with Xpages. And we've seen something of a decline recently, which I think we can all appreciate. But if we go back to all of the work that OpenNTF did, Kirsten told me this, I didn't even know, but OpenNTF has had a GitHub account for over 10 years. And not that it's active, but in terms of serving the kinds of solutions that people might want to get access to, typically going to the OpenNTF website and downloading whatever NSF you want to download, we also have the ability to use GitHub and do it that way too. Very active on Stack Overflow, of course, and Slack has started to grow. In fact, just this past year when Watson Workspace kind of went in decline, we saw a transition over to Slack for a lot of the kind of community conversations that were happening. So it was nice that we were in a position to be able to take that on and continue to support the community. And different initiatives, snippets were mentioned earlier, collaboration today is there and other things. And something that we brought up this year, and Margaret's in the back, was guides and documentation. So another initiative where people who are interested in contributing to OpenNTF, but not necessarily through code, can do it through documentation or how-to guides or other measures that I'll get to in a bit. So that was something else that we started this year. In terms of moving forward, we're working right now, I see Richard's moved on, but talking to HCL about a strategic partnership that's going to allow us to continue to support the community in the ways that we have, for example, talking about supporting community events and contests and hackathons and various other things that we like to do in terms of supporting the community, but also to look beyond straight Domino windows, look into connections, look into DX. And in fact, Frederick, one of our board members from Sweden, was at an event, and somebody came up to him and said, how come you're not supporting admins on OpenNTF? How come there aren't admin tools on OpenNTF? Well, this year we had our first submission of an open source tool to support admins in Domino. So to look beyond just straight old notes development to all of the platforms in the HCL Digital Solutions portfolio, and not only developers, but admins, end users, and whatever else we can figure out there. And in terms of access as well, so going beyond just our traditional OpenNTF site, you heard, those that were here yesterday heard talk about the HCL App Store, talking to HCL about having an open source version or page in the App Store for access to the solutions that are available on OpenNTF. And I'm here to announce that we are going to be launching soon sandbox.opentf.org, which is a Domino server that you can connect to try out apps on OpenNTF without actually having to download to your own server or spin up your own dev server. You can connect to our dev server. And as always, the OpenNTF servers are hosted by Prominic and Doug's on hook for putting that together. So thank you. Okay. Get involved. Please get involved. Join up. You know, people know OpenNTF. You download stuff from OpenNTF. We're looking for input. We're looking for how can we be better? How can we do more things? How can we be available to more people? But we're all volunteers, as you know, looking for little bits and pieces of time from everybody. And no effort is too small. As I said before, you don't have to be a developer, or you don't have to be an admin in order to contribute to OpenNTF. And you don't have to have a lot of time. You can bring an idea. Simply bring the idea, and we can marshal the resources and the people in the community who want to help develop that idea. So we're open to all kinds of stuff. And again, we're going to make ourselves better by everybody contributing. So please get yourself involved. Oh yeah, the comment at the bottom, this is a new dawn. I felt really good about seeing Richard's presentation and thinking about how, as he used the term, the previous owner of the brand. And if we can think of the sun setting on that ownership, and now we've got a new dawn. And that's how we're looking at it at OpenNTF. And this is an opportunity for us to do really crazy, cool things and take all of these wonderful things that Stefan and Jason are coming up with and make them available for everyone. We have a roundtable discussion, I think it's right after lunch, where we're going to talk about tools and the kinds of things that people might want to be able to use to do development in this world. So please come and join our roundtable. It's a quick one, but all the folks from OpenNTF are going to be there to just get your feedback and thoughts. Okay, the CollabSphere Beauty Contest. Richard put together to do template notes, and this was intended to be a fun thing. When it was first announced, there was some people who were kind of poo-pooing, looking, saying, "Oh, HCL's just looking for some free consulting here." That's absolutely not what it was intended to be. We wanted to just have some fun. We wanted to say, "Hey, you know, there's this new stuff that's available in Domino, and let's play with it, and let's again contribute something back to the community." It's, I mean, hands up, who's learned something from some piece of code that somebody else wrote and posted somewhere for you to download it, right? We all have. Let's keep that momentum going. So that was the point of the beauty contest, was to take the to-do template that Richard put together and make it work on Nomad. And I am happy to announce that the winner is a company called Smart Dot, a submission from China. I was able to download it myself. I've actually got it on my iPad if you want to have a look at it. And we're going to make that available on OpenNTF for others to download and learn from. So thank you very much, and congratulations to the Smart Dot. And just to close on that thought, Paul Withers has actually already started a blog series on how to do Nomad development using the to-do template as his basis for it. So I think he wanted to do the beauty contest, but of course we were judging, so we were excluded from being able to do submissions. Anyway, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
For the beauty contest, the original intent was to have 4 regional contests and 4 winners, but Asia was actually the only region that actually submitted anything. So that's why it's only 1 winner. So we didn't get anything from North America, South America, or Europe. So, but you know, we had some fun doing it and testing it out and trying things, and there were already some interesting submissions, but Smart Dot was the best solution we chose, and will be available at OpenNTF. Yes, okay. I'm just gonna cover a couple of the logistic stuff that you should be aware of. So if you are going to Dave Buster's tonight, the bus will start picking people up from 6:30 at the front, and then the bus will take about 40, 50 people, and then you gotta do a round robin thing a few times before everyone can get there. We are covering drinks and food, but not the games. So you got your own on the games. there is going to be at around 3 o'clock, it's a speech sponsoring. And we're going to have people break into groups and go through speech sponsoring. If they've never been to speech sponsoring, Tony Bowler will explain how that is. And in the next few minutes, we're going to do work sponsoring. So work sponsoring is essentially having these sponsors come up and present in 30 seconds their product and services as fast as they can. So, Tony Bowler.
Good morning, everybody. So we're going to do 2 different things. Right now, we're going to do warp speed sponsoring. So this is really quick. So everybody, sponsors, if you're coming up and you want to warp speed sponsor, please come up and form a nice line so that I can call you up quickly. In that 30 seconds, what they're going to do is generally get you to come and see them at their stand. Okay, so that's these days very hard to get done to those things. I'll give you an example. I'll do ours. So Hassel Firm helps you federate, automate, integrate, and delegate all of your user ID and group management requirements inside Notes.net. So that's it. That's easy. Come and talk to me or Richard anytime while we're here, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. So it's got to be that fast. It's got to be that accurate. It's got to be done quick. Sponsors, come up. Form a line. Yeah, if you come over to this side, guys, and I'll pick you up, then I'll call you up one at a time. You get 30 seconds. I will stop you at the end of 30 seconds. I have a timer. It's on my iPad. It will go in alarm. I will tell you to shut up, okay? You come and stand here. If you have slides, let us know, and we'll get the guys to plug it in and get the slides up. So, please, come in, IBM. You're up first. Welcome.
Let me know when to start.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Happy to be here. What is App Connect? It's a tool that will help you to connect and really integrate applications, data, systems more easily without coding. Please come and see us in the back. I have myself and Tony Grappis from sales, and we look forward to meeting you. We are integration specialists, and we're happy to be here with our collaboration specialists. Thank you very much.
26 seconds. So that's currently the record. That's what we're aiming at. Okay. Right. Maybe I could use my iPad. So on time.
Yes.
Go.
On-time group calendar is an incredibly powerful scheduling and group calendaring tool that works over a Domino and Exchange, and it even works as a hybrid between different mail platforms. On-time is always available whether you're in the office, on the road, working in notes, or working in connections. So hopefully you'll come talk to us. We're in the booth down there. We're going to be there today and tomorrow. And we have a session later today at 1 p.m. So come see us.
28 seconds, that's pretty much perfect. Can we plug in? Okay, welcome, White Trio. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So hi, White Tria. So we're here in the business for 20 years now. So if we're talking about SL, legends, database, replication, conflicts, design properties, or table, deletion stuff, database setting, view folder design, server section number, etc. So just name it, and we have a tool for that.
I'm Scott with CollabSphere. We standardize all of your email signatures for every email that's sent through your company servers, whether it comes from mobile, your desktop. iNotes, I still do, I'm still old-fashioned. We're giving away a Bluetooth floating speakerphone, so come over, get in the drawing, see a quick demo of how CollabSphere works. Thank you very much. We're also offering 50% present this card to everyone containing.
That's a great offer. So, coming up.
Hi, Peter Funky with Workplace On. If I have a group of brilliant developers from around the world, and they create the most incredible thing with all their passion, but no one sees it, what value did they really produce? Workplace On provides the means for you to have a voice and make it beautiful as well. So stop by and see Workplace On and make all of your value visible to your customers. Form that first impression in the first 1/10 of a second that they use to judge, do they really trust? Thank you very much.
Okay, Dominic, John.
So I'm John with Prominic. We're the official HCL MSP cloud partner. Our booth is over there. If you have, if you're stuck on Connections Cloud, Smart Cloud Notes, or you have Domino applications in-house that you'd like to host in the cloud, come find us. Thanks.
Last but by no means least. I'm sorry, and next to last, but by no means least. We have Richard Wood.
Okay, besides running this great conference, I also are involved in Fora Group. And what this Fora Group do these days, imagine being able to create an application on Domino just using a simple UI and drag and drop. Build not just a simple application, but as complex as you want. We're just showing today our new i4 Flow and i4 App Place. So come join us and look at how you can create an application.
That was the perfect use of 30 seconds. That was exactly 30 seconds. Well done, Richard. So definitely last but not least, agenda 2 people.
Did you say last N, possibly?
No.
Fantastic. I'm Julian with Agenda. We have Marvel Client for managing your notes clients. We have analytics solutions for Domino, Connections, Microsoft. We are also giving away money to Girls Who Code. Please stop by our booth. Everyone who stops by, we will donate $2 for Girls Who Code. If everyone stops by, we'll donate hundreds of dollars. So thank you very much. Have a great conference.
So you all came here, and no one's paying any money to be here. The reason for that is the sponsors who are here. The lead sponsors with HCL and Panagenda, and all the other sponsors too. So please take time to go and look at their products. You never know what you're going to find and what will help you and make your lives easier. And we can only sponsor the events if we're selling stuff to you. So please come around, find out what everybody does, and visit them. And definitely go and see Panagenda so that they're donating lots of money. Okay, thanks very much for your time. I'll see you again at 3 o'clock this afternoon for the full sponsoring, where you're going to have to go around and see everybody and they're going to get some money. All right, I'll catch up with you later. Thank you, everyone.
So the session starts at 11 o'clock, and then we have lunch here, and then we serving here, and also outside. We actually have more people than we expected. And then join us here at 3 o'clock for speed sponsoring. Thank you.
Yeah, don't mess with me.
Actually came up in one of the meetings. Been with folks in the UK. Yeah, it's easy to do. It takes about I tell people, you give me a half an hour, have everybody on the same side. The hard part is getting everybody to agree on that. The second hard part is when we get on the and then it feeds off the document directly. You don't have the data there. Outside of that, we got we already have the data. We can actually a little bit of modification. We have a key. We go over settings. But yeah, so do you have time, like, 30-second overview, or on to the next thing I'm gonna complete? Sometime, maybe, just show you